Hi everyone, Miss Abraham here. I just wanted to show an example of how you can draw a coordinate grid with non-unit intervals like you just learned about in the slides. Now, if you didn't read through and learn some new information in the slides, please stop this video right now, go all the way back to the first slide, read through them carefully so that you understand exactly what this video is talking about and how to do and answer the questions in the Google form. That's super, super important. Okay, if you did, then you're ready for this step. On the second to last slide, there are steps on how to draw a coordinate grid, and I thought it would be important just to show an example of that before you make your own, okay? So the first step is to make the x-axis. Now I like to start with the x-axis because it helps me remember that x is always first. So remember, the x-axis is the horizontal axis. It goes side to side or left to right. And I'm going to label it x just like that. Okay, there's my x-axis. Now I'm going to draw my y-axis. My y-axis is going to start at the end of the x-axis, and it's going to go up and down, or it's going to go vertically with an arrow at the end because it goes on forever. Both of these axes go on forever, and both. So we're just going to give an arrowhead at the end and label it y. Super important to always label it x and y. Okay. Now we're going to label this point right here. Now remember, in fifth grade, we only use quadrant 1. We label quadrant 1 with a Roman numeral 1, which actually looks like an I, but that actually means the number 1 in Roman numerals. And in quadrant 1, the origin is at the corner, or the point where the x and the y-axes meet, which is right in the corner over here. And we're going to label that origin with its coordinate pair 0, 0. Okay, so we've labeled our x-axis, our y-axis, our quadrant, and our origin. Now it's time to make this look more like a grid, and we can do that by adding horizontal and vertical lines. Okay, so let's add some horizontal lines and aim for at least 10 so that you get some good practice in making non-unit interval pairs. I'm just gonna try to make evenly spaced grid lines. Now I would suggest using a ruler if you have one. If not, then do the very best you can, like I am here, of making straight lines. If you're going to do this really fast and sloppily and you have really curvy lines, it's not going to be the greatest thing for your points, which should be evenly spaced, okay? So try your best to keep those lines nice and straight and evenly spaced. This isn't so bad. I could do better. Next time I'm going to use a ruler, okay? Now it's time to make our vertical lines. So I'm going to start really close to the y-axis and make some vertical lines. And again, aim for at least 10. Make sure they all go all the way and touch the bottom. Touch the bottom, touch the bottom, touch the bottom. Nice. And remember, you do not need grid paper to do this. I'm doing this on a piece of scrap paper, on the back of scrap paper. That's all you need. Just have scrap paper and a pencil. I'm using a Sharpie now so that it comes dark enough on the video, but definitely use a pencil. Or I would suggest using a pen for these first couple steps, and then when you start plotting, use a pencil, okay? Now that we have put our grid lines in, we can now label our intervals. Okay, so now is the fun part. We're gonna make these non-unit intervals. And remember, your task is to make 2 different non-unit intervals on the y-axis and then on the x-axis. So let's start with the x-axis. You don't have to choose the interval I'm choosing. You can be creative and choose your own. I am going to choose the interval of 3 for the x-axis, okay? So that means I'm skip counting by 3 for every line that I go to. So 3, 6, 9. Remember, because this is a non-unit interval, I cannot have an interval of 1. So it can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's got to be some other jump, some other skip count or interval. Okay, I got up to 33. Now I'm going to think of a different interval for the y-axis, okay? Now for this interval, I want to do an interval that's less than 1. Okay, so I'm going to do an interval of half. Okay, that means every time I go to a new line, I'm going to skip count by a half. Okay, so I can do this. So you can either skip count by a half and only write the whole numbers. So it's like half, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3. So I'm skipping one line because it's a half interval. And then I'm writing the whole number in every other line. You can do that. Or you can label every single line with a half. So if I want to do that, I could add in the half intervals like this. 5/10, 1, 1 and 5/10, 2, 2 and 5/10, 3, 3 and 5/10, 4, 4 and 5/10, and so on. Okay, so there. Now I have my x-axis with an interval of 3 and my y-axis with an interval of half. Now it's time for the fun part, to plot my points. Now you can do random points all over the board, or you can make a picture and try to think of a connect the dot picture that you can draw, so at the end you can connect those plotted points and make a really cute little drawing. I'm gonna do a heart. So I've got a heart in mind. I'm gonna think of what jagged points will make a heart in the end. And it's gonna look funny now, but when I draw my line and connect the dots in the end, I can make it curvy or lines. Okay, so I got my plotted points. Now, name the points. So by naming the points, I'm saying you can name it by letter. So I'm gonna go in alphabetical order, A, B, C, D, E, F. And now I have 6 named points. Aim for at least 5. 6 named points that are really easy for me to figure out where the location is for each of those, okay? If you didn't name them first, it's hard to keep track of those points. Now that you've named them, you want to label them with its coordinate pair. Remember that a coordinate pair is always open parentheses, x, comma, space, y, close parentheses. This is the format of every coordinate pair. Okay, now if to label each of these coordinate pairs, you can label them right next to the name of the point, or you can make a list right on the side over here. So for point A, I have to figure out what location or what coordinate pair does point A have. Okay, so let's always do, remember, close parentheses, no, open parentheses, sorry, and then the x coordinate. That means what number is this A falling on in the x-axis? Well, I can go to my A, follow the line all the way down towards the x-axis and see what number it falls on. It falls on the number 9. That means that this 9 is my x coordinate. So I'm going to write a 9 there, comma. Now I'm ready for my y coordinate. Go back to A, because we're still working on A. We haven't finished A yet. Go back to A. Now I have to figure out which number on my y coordinate does this A match up with? What line on the y coordinate does this A match up with? Well, I'm here. I'm going to go towards the y coordinate. Oh, I hit the number 5. That means my A is 9, comma, 5. This is my coordinate pair for A, and I can check this by looking at 9, 5 and seeing if I end up on A. So remember, when you're using the coordinate pairs, you want to go into the elevator, left and right, so 9, and then I have to go to 5, so I have to go up the elevator all the way till I reach the number 5. Yes, I got to the point A. I did it right. Now you would do this for all of your points make sure to have those parentheses, the comma, space, close parentheses. Make sure that you get all of the coordinates right. At the end, you can connect the dots. Oops, not so good. And you could even color it, make it beautiful, write a little message if you want. And then make sure that you take a picture of it and upload it to the one of the last questions in your Google form. Or if that's really tricky, you can email your teachers, okay? We can't wait to see all the beautiful things that you draw on your non-unit coordinate grid, sorry. If you have any questions, make sure that you email your teachers. We are always here to help. Okay, love you guys. Bye.